Hey guys, Adam Francisco here. This video is not sponsored by Just for Men. Although I do gotta say, they're probably gonna run into trouble soon because Just for Men seems a little too gender specific. They might have to change the name to Just for People Who Identify as Men. Just giving you guys a heads up, you're probably gonna get caught up soon in this woke leftist storm. So this is actually one of the top requested videos that you guys have asked me to do. So I figured, you know what? Let's get it done today. I got my nice little Hawaiian tropical shirt on. How you doing? The topic is going to be my top 12 travel tips. Now, these tips are not necessarily going to be here to save you money. Some of them will, but really it's just things to give you peace of mind. So that's going to be the theme today. My top 12 travel tips for peace of mind. Now, as many of you guys know, I have been a digital nomad for the past 3 years. I haven't had a permanent mailing address. I've been traveling remotely, living out of hotels and Airbnbs, and this gives me the freedom and the flexibility to just pick up and go. If I can't fit it in a single gigantic suitcase, I don't bring it with me. Now these mix of tips, some of them are gonna be better for long-term travelers like myself, but most of them could be used for either short or midterm travelers. So if you have a friend that's traveling, if you're traveling, definitely bookmark this video or share this video because I think it's going to be useful. So in absolutely no particular order, we're going to go through the top 12 tips that help me travel and give me peace of mind as I explore this beautiful, beautiful planet. Tip number 1, this is probably one of the most underused features of social media. If you go on Facebook and you type in the search bar any city name you want, I typed in Guadalajara recently, and you go to groups, what it's gonna do is gonna pull up all the different groups in the area that have the name Guadalajara in there. And you're gonna see a lot of groups like foreigners in Guadalajara, expats in Guadalajara. These groups have been so helpful. I often find myself joining these groups before I even arrive at the place. And I will post things such as, hey everybody, this is my monthly budget. Does anyone have any connections to apartments that fit these parameters? And within a few days, you get tons of responses. You could ask questions like, what dentist should I use? Where can I get the best sushi? What's a good first date spot? And you have this network of people, of experienced travelers, people who live there, a mix of locals that are just on demand. It's one of the most powerful resources. So before you travel somewhere, I highly recommend go on Facebook, put the social back in social media, and take advantage of these powerful tools that Facebook has. Now, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Tinder. I think that the app, the audience, the users have completely changed. You're gonna find a lot of catfishes. You're gonna find girls that are just pushing out their Instagram, their Snapchat, their OnlyFans. And so it's no longer a good place to really match and meet with people. That's my opinion, that's been my experience from looking at the app and being on there for a while. But the reality is it still does have some functionality because you might have to go through 20 matches to find like 1 or 2 actual people that are there to meet up and meet people in real life. So the one thing I recommend is use one of the Tinder premium services that gives you the access to Tinder Passport. What this allows you to do is you can set your app to anywhere you want in the world, no matter where you are. So let's say you're in New York City and you're gonna be traveling as a single traveler to, I don't know, Puerto Vallarta, for example. You can set your Tinder to Puerto Vallarta in advance and you can start matching with people before you even get there. So by the time you land, you can have friends to meet up with, dates to meet up with, and just have locals or even other foreigners like you that are there, ready to meet you, ready to go, and you won't be as solo when you're traveling. So one way that I'm able to live out of hotels and Airbnbs is that I don't pay rent. So when you get rid of your rent, that gives you so much more financial flexibility in where you can spend your money. So I choose to spend my money on Airbnbs and hotels. One tip is to do the long-term stays on Airbnb. There's actually a tab for monthly stays, and when you use that, you get all these discounts. The longer the stay, the greater the discount. So I've gotten some really amazing deals through Airbnb monthly stays. Sometimes you'll see discounts as high as like 50%, because let's be honest, having one guest for a month versus a lot of different guests, it's a lot less work. It's a lot less cleaning, and it's just easier for the landlord or homeowner. After your first month of staying at that place, if you're happy there, you can also talk to the owner and negotiate something offline where you might pay cash and you might pay less than you were paying Airbnb, because when you go through Airbnb, they obviously get their fees. Now, some landlords are not comfortable with this because when you go through Airbnb, it has some built-in insurance. When you remove Airbnb, that's it, you guys are kind of on your own. So that's hit or miss. I've done it before where I felt comfortable with the owner. I felt we had a connection, a friendship, so I've gone offline and just gone straight cash, and I've had no issues. But then there's sometimes when I'm traveling, such as right now I'm in Mexico, I'm probably gonna stick to the Airbnb, and even if I stay for more than a month somewhere, just because I wanna have that peace of mind that Airbnb is there to have my back in case anything goes wrong. Number 4, if you're like me and you're a content creator, or even if you're not, you're just taking photos and videos of everything that you see, get a portable hard drive and bring it with you. Because you could just take all the space off of your camera. You don't want to keep it on your laptop because that's going to make your laptop run slowly, but it'll give you somewhere to keep all of your data. But more importantly, you also want to encrypt your hard drive. Now, I didn't realize how easy this was to do on a Mac, but I basically just plugged my Mac in, did a right click, and I literally said encrypt this hard drive. And after it processed all the existing data that was on the hard drive, it allowed me to put a password in. So now nobody can access my hard drive unless the password is entered first. And this also has just given me huge peace of mind. Not only do I keep all my data on a hard drive, but it's also password protected. Number 5, whether you are an iPhone lover or an Android lover, the reality is these devices are not so good at nighttime. Seriously, if you guys try to take a photo without a good light source at nighttime, these cameras just don't have the power. So what I recommend, invest in a good camera. I actually have 2 cameras right now. I have a Canon Rebel T6, which is a few years outdated, but I do all my vlogs on a Sony ZV-1. And I also have a ring light with me, which I'm using right now, so I can get better lighting at nighttime when I do my vlogs. So really, the primary thing is get a good camera for better nighttime photography, but also try to get a ring light so that you can do things like this and film vlogs or whatever it is at nighttime. Google Translate is going to be your best friend. One feature they have is you can pre-download a language before you get to the country you're going to. This way, if you lose service or you're offline or have a weak signal, you could still use Google Translate. This is super important. There's been so many times where I did not have good service in an area and I was trying to communicate with local and it just wasn't working. But if you pre-download the language, you won't have to worry about that. Number 7, this one kind of ties back to number 2, but try to be in a bilingual local in the area that you're staying. This is going to be super helpful, not only in case of emergencies, but it'll give you a resource of someone that you can tap into, ask questions, get guidance from. And the reason why I say a local is because they'll be well aware of the scams. You know, I was never a local in Thailand, but after being there for a year and a half, I met so many locals that pretty much warned me of all the potential scams that existed when it came to tourist traps. So that's one of the benefits of getting to meet a bilingual local. They can help you out, they can take you places, they can show you places, and it's really nice to just have a friend who speaks the local language. Number 8, always carry cash with you. You never know when you're gonna end up at a remote place where there's no ATM nearby. And if you like to live in hot countries like I do, that can become a nightmare. If it's a 100-degree day out and you don't know where the ATM is and you don't have any service and you need cash, it becomes very challenging to have to find an ATM. This happened to me a few times in Cambodia as well as in Vietnam, and it's not an experience that I recommend going through. So always try to keep cash on you. One thing people say is keep cash in different pockets, some in your wallet, some in your pocket, some in your sneaker, just in case you end up encountering a pickpocket. It's always good to diversify where your cash is on your person, so that way if they get the money out of your wallet, you still got the money in your pocket. Number 9, get a powerful portable charger for your phone. But one thing you gotta be careful of, some airlines have a max battery size that you're allowed to carry with you. I believe for some airlines it's about 30,000 MAU. My 2 portables are about 29 and 30, so I literally make the cutoff right there. But it's so important to have a portable charge with you. You don't have to be worrying about outlets or your phone being at 0%. It's always good to keep a charge with you. I have 2 chargers. One is always at home getting fully charged, and one is with me that I use when I'm out doing my thing. Number 10, pack lighter than you think you need to. When you live in developing countries or countries that are cheaper than the USA, for example, it's very easy to replace what you need at a fraction of the price. So if you think that you need to bring 8 pairs of jeans with you, maybe just bring 3 or 4. And if you need more clothes, you can find a pair of jeans here for $10 US. This goes for shirts, this goes for anything, medication. Bring what you need, but don't bring a year's supply if you're only gonna be there for a month. Number 11, take pictures of every single important document that you might need access to. Seriously, this is gonna just help you out so much. Make sure there's a picture of your passport on your iPhone, a picture of your driver's license, pictures of your itineraries, whatever it is, keep a folder on your iPhone and put all your important documents in there. You know, in case you lose the paperwork or something happens, you'll at least have a digital backup. By having a picture of your passport, you won't have to carry your passport with you. I fortunately have memorized my entire passport. I know the number, I know the expiration date, I know the date of issue, so I don't need my passport with me. But for some of you guys who might not have the details memorized and you don't want to bring it out with you because you don't want to have it get stolen or lost, just take a picture, keep it on your phone. Trust me, this is going to be super helpful. And lastly, tip number 12, you guys might find this to be silly, but this is probably the greatest tip in terms of peace of mind. How many of us have left our home, we get to the airport, we're in the taxi, and we think to ourselves,
did I leave the stove on? Did I close the garage?
You have this mental checklist and you start to feel unease, you feel uncomfortable, you feel like you just forgot to do something. That is one of the worst feelings in the world. And it's gotten so bad for me sometimes where I've actually had to turn around and go back just to double check. This is a simple solution that's changed my life, it's changed my traveling, and I'm passing it on to you guys. Use your iPhone and take a video of your home or apartment as you're leaving. And I do this, well, I used to do this when I had my own apartment, but I would literally go to the Wi-Fi and I'd say, I am unplugging the Wi-Fi is now unplugged. I would go towards the stove and I'd take a video of the stove and say, look, every single dial is turned off. I'd go to the microwave, I'd make sure the microwave is unplugged. I did this, and if I started to get that feeling of unease and discomfort, and
I think I forgot to do something,
I would just simply watch the video on my iPhone and I would just be like, you know what? Everything that's important and vital, I'm good, I'm covered. Seriously, try that tip next time and I hope it makes a huge difference. And number 13 as a bonus tip, because of course I had to throw a bonus tip and this is like the encore, right? This one is specifically for my pet owners. Now, I'm very fortunate that my dogs are able to go with me everywhere that I travel. Raindrop's been to 10 countries, Cloud's been to 2 right now because she's still a puppy. But for those of you who can't bring your dogs with you places or you need to leave your dogs at home, I would strongly recommend that you have a trusted pet sitter, a trusted pet boarding place, somewhere where you can leave your dog in trusted hands and not really have to worry about that. I would recommend leaving it with a friend or family member so that your dog has more of that home type of experience. When you leave your dog at boarding schools, it's a professional business, and I'm not trying to say that they're not good. A lot of them are fantastic for overnight stays, but over the long term, your dog might miss that personal feeling of love, of sleeping in someone's bed or watching TV that can make them feel a little bit more normal when they're at home with your friend or your family member. So really try to always make sure you have a trusted family member or friend that already owns dogs and that your dog has already met. Because for your dog, even though they're still gonna miss you, it'll feel a bit like a vacation for them as well, a little sleepaway camp with one of their best canine friends. So that's a huge tip, and that should give you huge peace of mind. That's it. Those are my 13 biggest tips that I have to give you peace of mind when you're traveling, whether you're doing long-term, mid-term, or even short-term trips. And I know that we're living this crazy time with the pandemic and COVID, but here's my opinion on it. If you're feeling healthy and you have a negative COVID test, and you've done all the research with the country that you're arriving to on the quarantine process and getting into the country, all that stuff, if you feel healthy, if you have a negative test, I think it's okay to support the travel industry at this point. Support the airlines, the hotels, the restaurants, because I'm telling you right now, they are all struggling. And I don't feel bad for the corporations. Like, I don't really feel bad for, American Airlines if they have to, that they have to lay off workers. I feel bad for the workers that are getting laid off. I feel bad for the people that are losing their income, that are losing their livelihood, that are losing their jobs. I feel bad for the small business owner whose job's been shuttered down and he or she has lost everything. That's who I feel bad for. So when I travel, I try to contribute to the local economy. I try to support the local businesses. I try to tip really aggressively. And the cool part is when you're in places like Mexico or Thailand or Vietnam or wherever you're going that's a developing or cheaper country than the US, you can afford to tip big. You can make an impact into the pockets of the people by tipping big. I find myself usually tipping about 50% here in Mexico, and I've even give tips as high as 100% if the service is exceptional and I feel that the price was just way too low. You could have dinner for like $2. So when you tip $2 to the person that's serving you and making the food and struggling to get by, it makes a huge help. So in a way, you are giving back and you're spreading your wealth. Someone on my YouTube recently made a comment saying that Trump supporters are not known for helping other people. And first of all, that's complete bullshit in my opinion. From what I've seen in my experience, Trump supporters are one of the first groups of people to help and put their hand out for a fellow man or woman who's struggling, a local business owner who's been destroyed. We are all about small businesses. We are all about less government involvement. And so for me, when I get to travel the world and put money in these people's pockets directly, it makes me feel good because I know that I'm making a difference. And the best part is it doesn't require as much money to make a difference. You know, we recently did a fundraiser for the people of Hua Hin, Thailand, and we raised $1,000 in one day, which I was super proud of. And that $1,000 goes a lot further than it would in the US. $1,000 in Thailand in a small local beach town is the equivalent of about $10,000 in terms of spending power in Thailand. So to me, the fact that I can use American money here in Mexico, or hopefully in the future in the Philippines, or hopefully in Thailand again, it just feels good. And I think it's helping people out around the world, spreading the wealth, right? Again, America first, but once America's taken care of, then we can open our pockets to help other people. That's from a country standpoint, but us on an individual level, if our needs are taken care of, if we have food on the table, if we got a roof over our head, why not reach to our pockets and help out where we can, where the dollar goes a lot further? It's my opinion. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up, click the bell for notifications, leave a comment. Let me know if you guys have any tips that I might have missed. If you guys could share this with a friend that's traveling, be a huge help, not just for me, but I hope also for them. All right, guys, I gotta go dye my hair now because I gotta get rid of all these stupid little gray hairs that I do not like. I wish I had more of them or none of them. That's the bottom line. But to have like 1,000 of them, it's very annoying. All right, guys, enjoy it. Be free, my sheeple.